Let me now bring on board a very special guest, Mr. Ravi Mathur, the Disinvestment Secretary, joins us live from New Delhi. Mr. Mathur, good morning. Thank you for joining us. It's your first time on ET Now, so a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Mr. Mathur, the government disinvestment drive has been a success. First it was NMDC, then it was Oil India, now it is NTPC. Government of India so far this year has already mobilized about 22,000 crore from the disinvestment drive. Are you confident of reaching the target of 30,000 crore?
Yes, as you rightly said, we have already mobilized about 22,000 crores this fiscal, and by the end of this year we'll try to achieve a target which is closer to the target that was set. However, exact numbers I can't say because there are 3-4 issues yet to be taken up, and once they are through, we'll be able to confirm as to how much target we will be achieving.
So after NTPC, which is the next issue in line?
Well, exact sequence of issues I can't tell them. However, there are 3-4 issues which are lined up before 31st March, and as of now I can only state that they will be taken up as and when all formalities are completed.
Mr. Mathur, what has helped the government's divestment drive get back on track?
It has been a mixture of good investors' response and a teamwork guided ably by our finance minister. Under his leadership, we worked, and last 2-3 issues especially have been very successful.
Mr. Mathur, how do you view the foreign investors' appetite for Indian PSU stocks? It's been great in the last 2 cases, but what has changed according to you in the last 3 months?
Well, it's difficult for me to say, but as I told you, that there has been a lot of confidence in the Indian PSU stocks, and there's an appetite with the foreign investors for these stocks, and this has resulted in, especially in the case of both Oil India and NTPC, large number of foreign investors have bought shares.
But can one be reasonably sure that the next issue will only hit after the budget?
I am not setting any timeline as such as of now.
So which means a fresh OFS or a fresh government OFS could come before the budget?
Well, all I can state at this point is that they will come before 31st March 2013.
Okay, fair point, Mr. Mathur. But it has often been alleged that the government relies on LIC to bail out divestment issues. We've seen LIC get allotment in most issues as well. Is there ground in that argument according to you?
No, in the last 2 issues especially, this has not been true. In fact, in Oil India, LIC did not get any allotment, and in NTPC, I think they got only 14 or 15% of the allotment. So this is, you can't generalize like this. And in any case, LIC is an independent body. They take their own investment decisions.
Mr. Mathur, OFS, that's offer for sale, is a faster way for share sale, but it is not really conducive for retail participation. Is that something that you are looking to change in the further issues to come?
See, regarding mechanism of transactions, it is for the SEBI to decide. But given a system, we have to work within that. And government takes its disinvestment decision based on the merits of each issue. So for me to judge a particular system as this is better or that is better, it's not fair for me to judge that. However, I can state that in the OFS mechanism also, there is no bar as such for the entry of retail investors.
Could you give us a broader flavor of the kind of investors who have invested in the NTPC issue? Because my understanding is, apart from local marquee investors, a lot of sovereign investors also invested in the NTPC issue?
I don't have the figures right away with me, but there have been some sovereigns who invested in NTPC issue. For instance, Government of Singapore.
Mr. Mathur, what is your department's stand on Hindustan Zinc and Balco divestment? In principle, are you okay with that stake sale?
This issue is being dealt separately by the Ministry of Mines, and once they come up with a decision on this issue, then whatever task is given to us, we'll complete that task. But presently this issue is being handled by the Department of Mines.
What about Suti? Any word on that?
Suti is not being dealt in my department.
You've not heard anything from the Finance Ministry on that?
No, not yet.
Mr. Mathur, your department was also looking to set up a divestment ETF. Have the contours of that been finalized?
Yes, the department is working on an exchange traded fund composed of PSU stocks. I have had some preliminary discussions within the department, and we are working out the details. But all I can say at this juncture is that as soon as these details are finalized, we'll come up with an RFP document, and I'm sure this will evoke a lot of interest in the investors, especially those who don't want to invest in one particular stock. However, it will give them an opportunity of investing in a basket of stocks.
Ballpark timeline. When is it that you would be able to take this presentation to the cabinet?
Well, it will be next fiscal.
Do you want to share some numbers with us for FY14 disinvestment target? I know I'm stretching myself, but it's worth a guess.
That you can guess anything, but as far as we are concerned, we are still in the process of finalizing the action plan for next year. And once the target is set, we'll work according to those targets.
Will it be higher than FY13?
Well, it should be higher than FY13.
Which means your FY14 target will be more than 30,000 crore.
Well, ideally it should be, because of the response that we have got in the last 2-3 issues, the target should be more than.
Apart from 3 OFS or 3 offers in next 45 days, what else we should expect from your ministry next 6 months?
As of now, I can only talk about what we are planning for this fiscal. Once we are through that, only then we'll give a thought of the action. I mean, how do we go about in the next financial year? And as of now, I think we have 2-3 issues before 31st March. Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizer, National Aluminium, Steel Authority of India, MMTC, etc.
Have you decided the percentage of government stake sale which will be offloaded in these 3-4 names which you mentioned?
I don't have the figures with me as of now, but we'll let you know once final decisions are taken as to when to we offload these stocks in the market.
No, would it be more than 10% in each of the cases?
No, I can't comment right away on these questions.
When are you planning the roadshow then? Because if you are confident and certain that these OFS will hit the market before 31st of March, today is 15th of Feb, I'm sure that you must have either planned the roadshow or the roadshows must have already started.
Well, the roadshows are planned.
So would you like to share the timeline with us?
No sharing of exact timelines.
You're going to give me some hints, sir.
No, I'm sorry. I can't.
Which are the other big assets? And I'm maybe asking you a slightly speculative question. Which you think you would like to monetize the next 12 to 18 months?
No, I mean, I've already answered this question earlier, that we'll share the action plan with you once it's approved, all the approvals are there. And so, I mean, as of now, I don't want to comment on what we are going to do in the next financial year.
Mr. Mathur, there are many government companies that do not quite meet SEBI's minimum public shareholding norms. You know, SEBI's been clear that no PSU will be given additional time to meet the deadline. Are you working on any mechanism to ensure that all PSUs meet those norms on time, because you yourself are working with the deadline of March 31st?
Yes, I mean, all those PSUs which don't meet that, I mean, we don't satisfy this condition will, I mean, get priority, no doubt about that.
Are you a bit worried that retail investors have shunned away from the market, and what your mind will it take to bring the retail investor back?
Yeah, I already answered this to you earlier, that given a mechanism, for instance, we have to work within the framework of that mechanism, and any amendments in those mechanisms have to be dealt by the appropriate market regulator, that is SEBI.
Question, Mr. Mathur, and promise this is my final question. Any thoughts on how do you want to address the sick PSUs? Maybe names like Scooters India.
See this, in case of 6 PSUs, I mean, if there's a board for reconstruction of public sector enterprises, and such loss-making PSUs are considered by this board first, and only after the board considers them, we take a final call on such PSUs.